My dear Corvo, what a sad hand fate has dealt you. The beloved Empress dead, and everyone thinks you're the killer. But we know what really happened, don't we? You don't want to end your life to the sound of idiots cheering as your head hits the muck, do you? Let's see if we can do better.
If you're a fan of Dishonored, you've probably seen the sentiment that the thesis of this game is who are you when no one can stop you. That idea captivated so many fans, but it could not have been done without one of the supporting characters, the Outsider. A rumor to most, a deity to some, the Outsider is my favorite character in Dishonored, and I want to tell you guys why. Mostly with low chaos and all Dishonored 1 stuff, just like his introduction and when I first played what made him stand out so much. A little introduction on him. This beautiful young man has been foreshadowed for the little bit of the game you've played. Seeing graffiti of his name on the walls and hearing people talk about him in passing, you kind of always have a little idea that he's around. And after encountering him in your dreams, Corvo learns to understand that he's some kind of all-powerful being that now follows you because you piqued his interest. He bestows magical powers to you and sets you free out into the city, and you could do as you please. For him, it's all in an effort to observe. Yada yada, you know how it goes. The basic plot of the game. He holds some kind of seemingly untapped knowledge, reminiscing on the building of the world around him and the evolution of the Isle's development. Although in the first game, we don't have a clue as to what that backstory could be. We just know that he knows these things and he has been around for a long time. I think that mystique could be why I like him so much. My fascination was caught immediately as the Outsider was introduced. A figure of like such importance and spread. You've seen his name, you've seen the church hang people for supporting him. Even our first main mission delves into infiltrating the quarters of a church who chastises the Outsider and his followers as heretics. You get to see how he has affected this world and the world building based around this one character. And so few people in this world have even seen him or met him that it is such a unique place to be in this world. In meeting him, we see the disparity between the Abbey of the Everyman and the Outsider, where he is calm, matter of fact. He leaves no doubt as to what we should be doing, yet he gives us freedom to do as we please. His design, perfect. Everything about his first appearance, so good. He looks like an average, just character NPC you'd see amongst the world, if not for his eyes and the fact that he's floating. His voice was what captivated me the most. His neutral but confident sounding voice has such a contradictory tone, where he speaks so normally and like just any person, but what he is saying is something of a godly perspective. It got me interested in the story very quickly. He has all the power in this universe, and he gives it to you, the player. He chooses to let you in on that sandbox. You get to choose what to do, and that makes it feel like he is kind of like us, like the audience or the player. He's watching Corvo's story just as we are, and he narrates events, sums up the story, and frames our narrative throughout the game with his shrines. He even narrates the ending of the game, and it makes it feel like he's part of the experience the player's having in beating the game. He is something outside of the game, more like the framing of the gameplay itself. He never makes decisions for you. He makes you feel the weight of carrying the power he has given you and what it is like to make those decisions on your own and how they impact your story. I think the best representations of all these things I love are in a couple different scenes that I'll mention. No particular order really, I guess, but you'll see. When your friends poison you.
Your friends poisoned you and dumped your body in the river. Did they do it to protect themselves, so no one would ever know what they'd done? Or was it because they were a single move away from controlling an empire, and they knew you'd never let them manipulate Emily? Maybe none of these. Perhaps that's just the nature of man.
He talks about the motivation for the Loyalist's betrayal. He theorizes why they may have turned against you, and he tells you the different reasons your friends could have turned on you. And he makes it rational. The justification for their actions is somewhat sound. He doesn't deliberately say what they did it for. Not exactly, they did it for this, they did it for that. He leaves it open. That is what is so interesting, because he leaves it open. But sometimes in scenes like when he's discussing Sokolov, he knows every thought. He knows his past, he knows what he's thinking now, everything.
Rivers change course over many lifetimes, and eventually all bridges tumble down. 1,000 years ago, there was another city on this spot. The people carved the bones of whales into runes and inscribed them with my mark. Children still find them washed up in the river mud. Anton Sokolov has made a great study of my runes, but he's not special like you are. He wasn't chosen, and he doesn't wear my mark, so he can't unlock their secrets. Sokolov believes there are specific words and acts that can compel me to appear before him. He searches old temples in Pendicia and ruined sub-basements in the flooded district. He performs disgusting rituals beneath the old abbey. But if he really wants to meet me, he could start by being a bit more interesting.
He has mentioned being able to see what happens in the days that come, so you are inclined to believe he knows something about the future. Yet, there is no definition, nothing definitive about what he tells Corvo. You learn this very early on, that he picked Corvo because he was interesting. He's in an interesting place in history, he's doing interesting things. He questions you about what you're going to do. He sees you spare the Overseer, he didn't see it coming. That gets his interest. He is fundamentally built off his interest in your actions.
How you use what I have given you falls upon you, as it has to the others before you. And now I return you to your world, but know that I will be watching with great interest. Here you are, Corvo, within the high walls of your enemy's stronghold. What an impressive sight you make on your way to face the Lord Regent. How will you end his reign? By blood or by truth? He's not an easy man to get close to. If the Empress had been as well guarded, how different things would be now. Is it just revenge you're after, or do you have another plan in mind? Will you restore things, make it all right again and crown a new Empress? Or will you send them all howling into the void? Either way, I expect a good show. You're on your way to face the High Overseer, the leader of a great cult dedicated to loathing me. What will you do, I wonder? Now your choices interest me. You spared High Overseer Campbell, the leader of a great cult dedicated to loathing me. I'm older than the rocks this place is built on, and even I didn't see that coming. But if he really wants to meet me, he could start by being a bit more interesting. Here you are, Corvo, within the high walls of your enemy's stronghold. You're an unstoppable force, it seems, but also unpredictable. The Lord Regent lives, despite all he's done, and that is most surprising. But in the end, you chose the more measured response. What will that mean in the days to come, I wonder? I've lived a long, long time, and these are the moments I wait for. You find your way into such interesting places, Corvo. At the eye of the storm, raging between granny rags and this man who has lived his whole life with a cleaver in one hand and a bottle in the other. Crawling out of those flooded ruins, winding your way back to the pub where you last saw Emily. Where is she now? How does it feel now, knowing your allies betrayed you? Strange how there's always a little more innocence left to lose. And Dowd, the man who killed the Empress, you had him in the palm of your hand, and you let him walk away? You fascinate me.
In the executioner's room, He tells you about what could come with the Empire. Your actions could lead to a new Empress coming to power, restoring the civilization to what it should be, or you could dispel fear and the plague, and everything else could grow, looming over Dunwall. It's up to you to make it happen. But he makes it very clear he's still expecting a good show. The low chaos run makes this so much more perfect because he wants you to keep going. He really thrives on your actions. And especially with the Lord Regent, he's surprised that you let him keep his life. He doesn't know how you made a measured response. And in his ever long life, he has never really seen moments like this. And it is what he himself says he lives for. This idea coming back again in the Flooded District, he questions how Corvo must feel with betrayal. Digging into your character's thought process goes external with that about how you spared Dowd and how much it fascinates him. That makes so much sense and makes me feel like the people who made the game really understood the character they wanted to make. If you lived so long, you wouldn't value the short term. The long-term results and consequences are always going to be more important because you are going to live to see them. I feel he's so different from other omnipotent characters. You can't exactly tell what he's capable of. There is always a veil of mystique and unknowingness about what he can do. He has all this magic power that he can give Corvo, making you borderline unstoppable and the game a breeze if you really want to use it. He just gives that away on a whim, just because Corvo interests him. Seemingly he knows what'll happen next, but he can still anticipate change. That contradiction of him knowing what happens, yet not knowing, makes him feel like such a unique character where you can't really tell what his motive is or what is going on inside his head. He gives you so little to work off of. He gives you minimal details and instructions throughout the game, but it still feels so impactful. You get so much direction on where you should be going, on what you should be doing, on where you stand, all through his interactions, yet he never explicitly states anything. He just feeds a little bit of information, just enough to make your cogs turn and get you thinking, what could it be that I'm taking from this? All those little aspects makes it feel so unique because he feels just as balanced in the world as we do. He gives the lore so much structure as he will give you bits and pieces of the past and sometimes seemingly bits of the future. He can tell you anything about anyone. He knows secrets that you hide. He knows the nature of your thoughts. He can see all, and he can't tell what Corvo will do. And that interest is what drives this character and makes him so impactful in the game. A sentiment I attach largely with him is the idea of madness and chaos, or reconstruction and restraint. He can see you bringing the world to harmony, and he can see you bringing it to insanity. He never tells you which you should do, but judging by his interest in how he has seen violence tear man apart and crumble societies, he knows where his interest lies, and finding that throughout the story by your actions is what is so beautiful. This is kind of just me rambling, but I just love this character, and I love him as a whole piece in Dishonored 1, where it doesn't make sense who or what he is yet, and the lack of knowledge the player receives. I love the way he was handled in this game, and I just wanted a quick way to put it all out there. So, have a good day, everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye.